Yeah, that is not bad. Not really hard. Hey everybody, welcome back to Life in the North 40. I'm Rick. I wanted to highlight and review the 10-ton Harbor Freight hydraulic manual log splitter. Why did I buy this? Well, I have a gas-operated log splitter. You see I have no shortage of rounds behind me, and I have plenty of more trees to cut this season that I lost in a windstorm. And behind you, I have a lot of stacked firewood. But I thought, hey, what about a grid down scenario, worst case scenario, no more gasoline. So this thing was $158.99. I thought, why not have it on hand? I have not even used this. So I'm gonna see, is it worth it? How does it work? And just a quick trial of this piece of equipment. A couple quick specs on this. There's not a ton of information. This right here is cut similar to a floor jack or a bottle jack. It's a hydraulic jack basically. And you manually crank it, and we're gonna do that. It'll run your log right into this splitter end. This thing is on the ground for demonstration purposes today. You may want to raise it up a little bit so you're not having to bend over with your logs. Although the handles are extended and it's easy to stand over and crank it like this. So I tried to elevate this first on sawhorses. I thought, hey, let's get it off the ground, be easier to work with. Actually, the handles are harder to work with the higher up it is. So you may want to elevate it a little bit and you can get leverage on the handles. All right, the specs on this, the minimum log length on this is 13.5 inches. The ram stroke, which this is the ram that will extend out, the ram stroke is 8 1/16 inches total length it extends out. This is the splitting wedge. The splitting wedge size is 4 inches long and it's 3 3/4 wide and 4 inches high for the actual splitter piece. And the overall dimensions of this is 41 1/8 long, 8 1/8 wide, and 9 3/4 high. So it's pretty small, compact, and storable actually. This does accept in split logs up to 18 inches long, as well as 6.5 diameter. Is what it says it'll split. Let's get a close-up of this and then do a demonstration. All right, so you've got the log splitter itself. I like that it has this retention device, kind of holds your log in place. These two little butterfly extenders on either side. You got your wedge here and the jack itself. I'm calling it the jack. It's basically what it is, but it's the hydraulic piece. Also, this lever here is your pressure release to let the hydraulic pressure out to go ahead and retract it. So we're gonna do that as well. So yeah, it's pretty basic. Let's give it a try and see how it splits. All right, let's get this log on here and we'll just get that kind of set up against the wedge. Now this is not on even ground. I kind of got a slight slope here so the log wants to roll down a little bit, but it's generally centered. So let's go ahead and start cranking this thing and see how it works. Once I get that fully extended and kind of make contact, so it moves pretty good. Just kind of pump your arms, get a little workout. It's not much resistance actually. So as I get a little closer, I'm just going to center it. There we go. Now I'm starting to feel the pressure. Yeah, it's not much, actually little resistance once it started making contact, but boy, that really split that easy. Now this is a seasoned dry piece of wood. It's been sitting for about a year under my tarp tree I cut last summer. But man, that kind of worked nice. All right, let's try the release. Oh wow, and I don't want to go back too far, so I have to crank more. Wow, that split that really nice. Nice and smooth. And actually, it was not much work. And yes, can you split this with the splitting maul manually, your firewood? Absolutely. So, and I do. But why when you can use this? This thing's a heck of a lot less work. And let's see if we can get that back. Let's retract it a little bit. Once you get your size of your log, you don't want to over retract it. You just have to go a longer distance that way. So, let's try this. It's about right. Okay, I want to split it one more time in pieces about the size I want for my fireplace. All right. Once that starts getting tight, it gets a little bit of resistance, but not too shabby. Yeah, you know what? I'm bending over so I can make it into the screen here in the camera view. But man, I'll tell you what, I could just totally stand up and crank this and not be putting pressure on my back. So that's about the size I like for my fireplace. You can always go smaller for kindling etc. So let's retract again, right to where we need it. Sit right in that cradle. I guess that's probably a better term than butterfly extenders, but like a little cradle. Yeah, that is not bad. Not really hard. This is actually less work. Now this is a really dry piece of wood. If it was a little greener, it'd be a little more difficult to split. But I'll tell you what, I'm really happy with this. It is not very strenuous to crank those handles. So I'm really happy with this purchase. So in my opinion, $158.99. This is really worth it to keep in my shop in the event that I can't use my gas-powered log splitter, which is a great piece of equipment. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think probably the biggest downside of this is just the weight of, you know, moving it around. It's got a little heft to it. Overall though, it's pretty compact for a log splitter. So way smaller than my wheeled gas-powered standing and laying 2-option tilts and stuff. So it's a lot larger unit. This is great. So I recommend it. I would pick one of these up if you're wanting to be prepared for an off-grid, no gasoline style scenario. This thing's gonna come in handy, and I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope this answered some questions if you're looking to buy one of these. I'm glad I did. Thanks for joining us on Life in the North 40. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.